Maverick Hunter, aka, Beast Leo. Like I said, I don't know if my first video came through or not, but this one I'm gonna invite commentary. Like I said, I'm new to this whole video game thing, making videos, so I'm gonna do my best to be a good representative of why I think this is one of the coolest games around, especially online. You get to interact with people, you get to make your own customized character, hero or villain, you get to customize them to your liking. Oh, for starters, I'm just gonna go through my roster of characters I made. I made 22 characters, as you can see. That would be 11 heroes and 11 villains. I like to play both sides because it's interesting to meet different types of people, see different types of playing styles and whatnot, and what you can expect on a superhero themed game. Well, first off, we're gonna start with him at the top of the list. Like I said, most of my characters will have the name Beast Leo inside them, so you know that basically you see that, you'll know me. I'm trying to, get somewhat well known. But anywho, like I said, it'd be nice to make more friends as well. See more people play, see more creativity at its finest. Alright, my first character, Beast Leo. Green Beast Leo. As you can tell, you see he has a green aura. He has some type of green incorporated in him. The reason why I came up with his name because he used to be a Green Lantern, but when Quantum Powers first came out, that was basically what I turned into because I already had a Lantern character. Didn't need two of them, so I turned him into Quantum because I wanted to play with him. And Quantum is definitely one of my favorite powers out there. Well, basically, I can play both of my roles with almost all my characters. I can't say everyone. Some of them are still need tweaking. But with him, I could be a damager or a DPS. That means damage per second. Or I could be a controller because of my powers. My powers are quantum. Quantum is meant to control, things like time, space, so on and so forth. I just made this character, Savage Beast Leo. As you can see, he's atomic. You know, not much can we say because he's still into developing. Then we got my Celestial character. This is my villain. I could heal and be a damager with him as well. The way I had him was I actually had a buddy of mine come over. He actually made him. He was an electric originally, but since I had an electric character and my boy just wanted to play around, I actually played around with him a little bit more, developed him, got attached to him. So I kept his name the same, but I just changed his costume and I changed his powers. So now he's Celestial. He's my second top ranked villain. Actually, I think it's a tie. But anyway, most of my heroes are male, except for two characters, and most of my villains are female, except for two characters. The two characters being the only exception, meaning that they're the opposite gender. Uh, Molecular Bombshell is my tank DPS, that's Atomic. I gotta play both roles with her. Neo, he's my strongest character overall, heroes and villain. Neo Rising Storm. Raijin was the god of thunder or lightning, whatever you want to say, and his brother was Fujin, the god of wind. Well, anyway, Neo Rising Storm was my second electric character, but he became the best, so, I got rid of my first electric character and turned him to something different. I kept Neo this way because it worked out for him, and like I said, he became my greatest asset so far. I've invested a lot of time in him because electric to me is definitely one of the coolest powers, especially for healing, if you know what you're doing with it. Catastrophe. He was my first character overall when I first played this game in 2011. He's ice. I know ice was the closest thing I could get to water, way before water was even thought of. And ice is pretty cool too. I like to freeze things solid and chill, cold, etc. Well, anyway, he's my tank. I'm working on being a damager with him because I actually like the prospects of ice being a good damager because I have a villain, which you'll see her soon. She's his counterpart, but she's ice, but she's a damager. But I'm gonna make them both, both of their roles because I know how to play the tank side and I can DPS with ice. Devil Ray Beast Leo. He's my Gadgets character. I wanted to see what Gadgets had to offer, and they was actually pretty cool. And again, with him, I was kind of thinking about scrapping him because at first, gadgets, they're not really my thing. It's not like shooting beams of energy, quantum, electric, etc. You know what I'm saying? But I learned not to sleep on gadgets, and actually playing with him is actually kind of fun. and he's one of my alternate characters that doesn't use flying. He uses skimming. So skimming is if you want to think about static, he skims on a disc made of electricity or his powers, or Mr. Miracle, if you know him. He has these technological discs that helps him achieve flight, but not traditionally like Superman or some other people that fly. Hellflame Beastleo. This is my top ranked villain, my strongest villain. He's a tank and he's fire. He's actually the opposite of Catastrophes in the sense of, fire and ice, in my opinion, they kind of oppose one another. And all my characters that could turn into the other roles, they wear different costumes so you can know that, they're different from their counterpart, whether they're DPS, troll, tank, or healer. They wear different costumes to represent the role that they're playing. Well, at least that's how I made my designs. Negativa, she's my answer to any good Kryptonians out there that are female. So, she's a villain. She has Kryptonian powers. And well, her base is really electric. I gave her 1 or 2 electric moves, but the rest of them are Kryptonian, whether it's her super strength, the swoop move that Superman uses, the heat vision, the frost breath, the stuff that makes a Kryptonian a Kryptonian, basically. She now has access to Veto's. Malefic Prodigy, he's my first hero that I used Celestial on, or that I learned how to use Celestial before my friend made Hennessy A. Hayes, and I just took him over. But basically, he's like I said, the hero version of using Celestial. Well, so far, he's just a DPS. He can't heal like with the first Celestial guy I showed you, but I'm going to eventually get to that. Then we have my character, Jade Beastleo. I made him since I got rid of my Lantern character on the hero side. And I wanted to make a Blue Lantern, even though he's a Green Lantern, but as you see his getup, you would think he's a Blue Lantern, but he's not. He still uses hard light green, he uses the power of will, but that was the closest since he still has a power ring. So I figured, I'll play around with it and I'll pretend that his constructs are blue, and they're what I want them to be. I mean, this is a game with superheroes and superpowers and supervillains, so you think you'd want to be creative is to, use your imagination, I guess. See, you got the Blue Lantern symbol on his chest. I try to, design it so that, you would think that's, like I said, it's original. My most recent villain. I didn't do anything with her because I'm waiting for my loyalty points to come in so I could, purchase skill points for her and make her, start off pretty strong and powerful. She's water. She'll be my water villain. So I have it for both sides. My hero. You didn't see him, but he's in here too. He's water. I'll tell you the story about him later. Freezing Rain. She's the female counterpart to Catastrophe. She uses ice. She's just DPS, and like I said, he's tank, but I'm working on getting their gear so they can play their alternate roles as well. Terra Volcanica. She's my first villain that uses Earth. I could tank with her. She's going to be the one I use to learn how to tank properly with Earth. I'm still in the process, but I took a break. Scorching Earth. He's my first Earth character that's a hero. Now he's DPS. He's the one I made when Earth first came out, and I actually kind of, liked him and stuff. You can see he still has some of the, gear that I got him, from, some of the Prime missions from the Brainiac. I think when Prime Battlegrounds used to be one of the top high-ranking missions before they came out with Tier 5. Sapphire Crystal, she's my answer to one of my characters, which I haven't gotten to her yet, but she's the hero. She's my only Red Lantern. I don't have a villain Red Lantern yet, but I guess when I get motivated, I might, consider making the villain that's a Red Lantern. Right now she does DPS, and I don't know how to be a rage tank yet, but I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn how to, because I'm a jack of all trades. I like sometimes, the reason why I made all these characters, because sometimes it gets boring just sticking to one thing, or basically, in a nutshell, I just basically wanted to offset the chance that if, you need a specific role, and sometimes this game is very hard to find a specific role and somebody knows how to play their role, so if I'm playing as one, namely, most of my characters I will play in their DPS role. But like if we happen to go into a mission that requires us to use a tank or a healer or a controller, depending on which many of my characters I decide to be, um, I could pretty much have that role covered, if need be. And I do know how to play him very well. Vortex Temporal. The way I made her, she was my first villain that I made when Quantum first came out. I made her from scratch. She wasn't already a level 30 character that I just switched their powers. No, I actually made her and built her from the ground. She's Quantum, as you can see. So far, I think I'm just a controller with her. I'm learning how to get more pieces of gear so I could use her DPS aspect, since I'm not a DPS with Quantum as well as be a controller. But basically, as you can see, she's basically quantum energy. That I guess you could say someone became sentient, but then all these characters started off as regular human beings that got affected with exobytes and been given the powers respectively of what been digitized within the exobytes. Then we have Lady Jin. Lady Jin is, originally I had 2 yellow lanterns, and only villains could be yellow lanterns, while heroes are green lanterns, and the red lanterns could be either or. They could be hero or villain. Well, basically, when I made my first lantern character, I liked it so well I had to make another one, because the first one I made was a controller, and she was specifically just a controller. And I wanted to see what the DPS aspects of Hard Light had to offer, so I made her. And I liked it so well that, like I said, I turned the original predecessor that I had before her into, I turned her into munitions. I'm about to get to her in a few seconds. Then we have Blair Dane. Blair Dane is my mental character. She's a hero, not a villain. And she has mental powers, obviously. And I named her, basically, if you're a Street Fighter fan, I love Street Fighter as well. There's this character on Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, that's from the first PlayStation. And her name was Blair Dane. She had blue hair, hence that's why I made her hair like that. But then, of course, most of my female characters, I kind of made them with long hair because I like a female with long hair. I mean, is anything wrong with that? But anyway, she, I took a break from her, but I'm going to get back on it because I actually like Mental. Mental is actually pretty dope as well. Sapphire Delta. She was originally my first Hard Light villain. And like I said, when Munitions came out and I didn't have a Munitions character, I wanted to see what Munitions was like. I still haven't quite played with it yet, but I basically changed her powers so she didn't conflict with Lady Jin. Then we meet the last one. This was actually the second character I ever made after my first Ice Tank. When I first played this game, I made a sorcery character. She's a cheetah, cat, person thing. She kind of looks like an Ironclaw from Bleach if you look at her color scheme and stuff like that. And basically, if you want to say, that's kind of what she can be. I kind of was thinking about Grimjow, if you know that I had that in mind with how I designed her. I gave her super speed, so she's the only character that has, all my characters pretty much fly or use skimming, depending on, I use skimming for certain characters, like my gadget character and my atomic tank, which was, forgive me, because I got 22 characters. I do know a vast majority of them, but some of them I can't think of the names until I think of their powers and stuff. Molecular Bombshell, she has skimming as well. Like I said, everybody else flies except for her, except for Byaku. I was thinking about a Byaku Tiger, that's why I, made her that name, Byaku. And then she's, like I said, she uses sorcery as her powers. She's a healer for now, but I earned DPS gear with her a little bit, so she could do a little bit of damage as well. But, I think sorcery healer is overlooked at times. I like it. Basically, as long as you take pride in developing your characters, you can pretty much do any job you want to do. As long as you, do it with pride and love and you know what you're doing. Alright, but basically, I'm going to give you a brief run through, a brief gameplay of what you can expect with certain people. Now, mind you, my characters, I believe they are pretty strong and powerful. I'm not trying to say that so I can, feel good and feel like something, but I've been told by many people that did a pretty decent job, but there's still way much more work I need to do because I got friends who are way stronger than even my strongest character. But that inspires me to keep moving and keep developing to do things, and hopefully I can pave the way for newer people to come and be the next generation of superheroes and supervillains to play this game and make the online game pretty fun. Alright, so we're gonna get things started. I think, you know what, as a matter of fact, who should I be? I think I'm gonna be Neo. I'm only say it because he is my best character, and I know how to use electricity very well, whether I'm a healer or a damager. But being as strong as I am, not many people are doing the missions that I actually qualify for. Meaning that there's missions that's way higher than what I could do. But the stronger characters that play this game tend to play those missions because they're above me, and they don't have the time to really. So I'm kind of stuck. That's why, like I said, I'm trying to get more people in here, and I wouldn't mind, helping people or leading the way. Damn it! Why does this phone gotta go? Forgive me, I was trying to make it so that you don't hear the noises from my house, like phones or people talking. So it's basically about just cool gameplay. Alrighty. Alright, I'm in the watchtower. I just see my character. My combat rating is 179. I'm almost hitting the 180 mark. My goal is at least get up in the 200 so I could be, OP. I definitely would be overpowered. And I believe electric is one of those powers that should be overpowered because it's one of the natural occurring elements of Earth. None of my friends are online, so I guess I'm stuck to try to hopefully get into a decent group. I want to pick a good mission where I could really showcase how much damage or effective I can do. For starters, I'm going to show you my ultimate role. Right now I'm in damaging role. This is what they call DPS. This costume with the gear I'm wearing, the setup, is basically, like I said, everything's geared towards me to inflict as much damage as possible. I'm going to give you a brief run through of my powers and why I chose them. Some of them were existing loadouts from what you would see online in certain forums and stuff. Some of it came from my actual gameplay of what I believe I should be or what I would do if I actually had electric powers. And some of them were also suggested to some of my friends were able to suggest again. So I incorporated all three elements, and basically, if you can see my loadout, that's what I have. Some of them I can tell you the name because I've used, when you use your powers so often, you tend to know what the names of them are even without looking, at your loadout. All right, now starting from the leftmost, which is the first one, we have overcharge. There's a bolt of electricity, like that. Although it may not be that powerful, but the ticker is. As a matter of fact, let me go to the training ground. I can show you better than I can tell you. I'll go to my base instead. Yeah, I need my base swagtricity because I use electricity and I got swagger. Yeah, I'm a cool New Yorker, New York brother with swagger. Alright, I didn't do too much to some of my bases. Some of my other characters, depending on how attached to them I like. I'm not saying I'm not that attached to this character either. It's just that I was more focused on completing missions and getting stronger than actually decorating my base. But some of them I put the most basics in it, like kind of put a decent bed or a hot tub. I had to put my armories. I didn't want to spoil it. I wanted to actually show you, so try not to pay attention to that. My access to my bank. My main thing. I got a pool table. I like pool too. I wish I had a bowling alley because I would actually, think that's dope as well. Okay, my sparring target. That's what I was looking for. All right. Basically, like I said, I'm gonna start off with the move from my leftmost part. All right, which is my left, Neo's left, his left arm. That's the move overcharge bolt. I see how I used it, and it blackened a little because I had to do a cooldown time. Now, I shot my target with that overcharge bolt. Now, this lasts for a decent amount of time. Not too long, but not too little. But basically, when they're in this stage and they have this electrified around them, basically hitting them with extra attack at that will increase and do extra damage to the point that after a certain amount of hits, they actually literally explode with a burst. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm going to try it again. That burst basically does more damage, and it damages other people that's around that target. So even if I didn't target other people around him and I target just him, I can show you even a little bit better if I go to my league hall, because there's better targets in a group instead of that one singular one that I have. Why didn't I think about that in the first place? Alright, don't trip. This is our league hall. Like I said, my friends aren't online yet, but they're actually cool people. If they're not as cool as me, they're definitely cooler. Um, but I'm glad I ran into them because they made playing this game a lot of fun. I took a break for a while because it's hard to deal with people, you know? If you don't have a microphone or a headset to communicate, it makes doing missions hard. And like I said, interacting with people is a big thing in this game. People don't understand that the dynamics or the severity of you have to be able to communicate with people. You have to. It's a must. It makes this game so much smoother when you know what you're doing with people, and again, you can communicate. Even if you're not talking about the mission, you can be talking about regular stuff, but still fighting. It's like, for me, being able to communicate with people is like having my friends actually sit here with me playing the same game, but except for we don't have to share the screen. Alright, so I'm approaching the training ground. I would give you a tour, but like, again, I'm just trying to show you gameplay, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. But anyway, these are Spartan targets. This is the group setting. You see? You see how I could change to different targets? You know, basically who I want. So I'm going to target this middle guy, just so, because he's the one that's kind of standing between everybody. Alright, now that he's locked in, see all my targets, my attacks will just focus on him. Now, depending on how you modded your guy, you have the tactical mods, which are the white mods you get from your own base. And if, you know, you made your character stronger, your precision, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna hit him with an overcharge bolt. So now that he's charged, you see how he damaged other people. Now that might not look like very much, but depending on the defense and resistance of the characters you're attacking is going to determine how much of that damage, you know, will damage everybody. You see, like I said, it damages them. So every little bit counts, and that still adds up. Because like I said, the idea, regardless of the numbers, of being a damage or a DPS is to inflict as much damage as possible, even if it's little significant damage against other targets. Remember, if you're in a group, you got other people that's going to be attacking too, because you know you're not going to be expecting that you're going to literally be a powerhouse and take everything down unless you're like super powered, really super powered. All right, like I said, that was overcharge bolt, but like I said, I'm going to go through a brief through and how I call a perfect rotation. Next, we got wired. Wired means, see, I just use it, my hands glow. Basically, it's charging with my leg energy, so I have the capability of doing more damage with my weapon attacks as well as my superpowers. As long as my hands glowing, but like I said, after it wears out, you gotta use it again, because, I wouldn't say wear out, cool down. You gotta wait for, most powers, you gotta wait for them to cool down in order for you to use it again. Some of them range from anywhere between 3 seconds to 8 to 10 seconds, you know. And like I said, even 10 seconds is pretty, you know, long in a game like this, because like I said, 10 seconds could actually literally mean the battle of life and death. Well, like I said, before you use any move, you might want to use wired, like I said, to make your move, your power stronger. Now, I don't know if they changed it, but before, this attack used to electrify your enemy with your weapon attacks, as long as you have wired activated. Then next we have Electrogenesis. Now Electrogenesis is a pretty interesting move, where it puts an aura on two of your closest targets. So the target you have targeted, and anybody that's near him, or who's nearest you, the closest one that's near you, they're going to be the other target that get it. It puts an aura on the two of them that damages whoever is near them. So as long as the person you inflicted with, how did I forget his name? The Electrogenesis. You see how other people are getting those ticks of damage? Basically, sometimes you might want to count the ticks as to how many times you know, how much damage you could get before you have to use it again. And it's under its influence. That's what Electrogenesis does. Then we have Arc Lightning. Before, I never used it as a damager because I liked it better as a healing, because it was a heal that basically, when you shot it, wrong attack. When you shot it, it basically goes to your target and it bounces off of them and gets to any enemy that's near them. But mind you, it does do a little healing. Even a damage roll, it heals just slightly. But if you was a healer, it would heal more, because when you're in your specific roles, you tend to, the powers that interact or are specifically for that role are increased because you're in that role. But basically, it's a cool move that if you want to damage lots of people, you can it, and like I said, it literally jumps to everybody that's nearby. If they're within distance, it'll jump to them. It'll jump to that person. And yes, and including your teammates too. Your teammates, you could say, are conduits that will share the boat, but they don't get damaged. If it hits your teammates, they get healed instead. But enemies get damaged when you use arc lightning. Alright, and it also electrifies them. You see that? But it's not the same as when I hit them with an overcharge bolt. They have that, but if I keep hitting them, they won't explode eventually or give a burst of, electric damage. Electrified enemies means that they're more vulnerable to other electrical attacks that I may have in my arsenal, and they take extra damage. And sometimes you can get an extra tick. So, like, for instance, I'll hit him with arc lightning. I see how they're under influence, that means they're more vulnerable or susceptible to my electrical attacks. Now, my next attack is one of my favorites. I like the animation for when it was in the old one, but I like this one too. But basically, as long as they're under this influence, I want to charge them again with the arc lightning, so that they're all electrified. And when I do my next attack, it's called Voltaic Bolt. It's an awesome move. Just watch. Now you see how they're getting damage for taking. I'm not even doing nothing because they were electrified from my previous attack. And then when I hit that, and basically the closer that all the targets are to the normal target that I shot, they're gonna get all damaged by it and receive other ticks of damage. So like I said, you're gonna start putting together as to how damage can stack up with electricity if you know what you're doing. Now there's other people that would combat this or make controversy, but like I said again, I think the way they designed this game now compared to the past was so that it's more geared and designed towards certain game styles. If you want to incorporate making certain things work, now you have the ability to make it work. Of course, if you know what you're doing, the skill points help as well. But all right, and that wasn't. And mind you, I don't use a supercharge. Superchargers are awesome, but with electric and Celestial, I don't really use superchargers in my DPS. I feel like only because it's a waste of a slot, and I'd rather have another move in there. I'd rather have a cooldown power that doesn't require me to charge up. And then this last one, to me, in my opinion, is a supercharge. It's called Electrocute. It's basically an area of effect attack. Area of effect means that whatever area I affect, let's just say these guys, you see how they performed in the circle? Basically, the area of effect would be this whole entire circle that includes them. So think about me putting a circle over them, and then I throw a superpower in there. That superpower will last for a certain time of duration, and basically anybody who's in that area of effect will continually get damage until they step out of it. Now sometimes they will still get ticks of damage if they were already under the influence, even if they move. They'll still get the ticks until the power either goes away or the ticking stops, basically, of how much they're getting damaged over time. That's basically what it is. Damage over time. A certain amount of time will pass, like within 6 seconds, they might accumulate, I don't know, I'm just giving a random number, maybe 40,000 points of damage. I mean, nobody really has that much health, as you can see. My character's health is barely pushing 20k. So, I'm just trying to scale it down. I just throw a number because, 40 sounds pretty dope. It's actually roughly half of what I actually got. Well, like I said, Electrocute, basically, so you an area effect, and as long as they're within the area underneath this cloud, they're always going to get continually struck by this lightning. Now, mind you, these are practice dummies. The numbers aren't really that great, only because of the fact that I didn't really use them in my perfect rotation that I figured out. The way I figured out my perfect rotation, I'll pop wire first, then I hit somebody with overcharge bolt, so they charge electricity, followed by Electrogenesis, then I hit an arc lightning, Voltaic Bolt, and Electrocute. Now I didn't use it as quick as I was supposed to. I just wanted to show you like what it would do. Like I said, you see how they were still literally getting damaged. But this is how I do it if I was actually in combat. Okay, I'm gonna do it because I can't say it and speak. Because if I speak and say it, it's gonna slow down, and I'm not gonna, make my timing right. But it's basically all about timing when you use your powers. Alright, that's it. Now, depending on how strong you can make your character overall in your base, like with your stats and using your and utilizing your skill points, will determine the amount of damage you can do. And of course, your the best type of gear, and also if you're modded, will overall determine your effectiveness as to how strong you can make your character. Alright, that was just my brief introduction as to what electricity can do. Oh, let me show you my other role. Okay, that was what I could do with damage roll. Now, when I transform and change my clothes, then just transform. See? And I use different weapons. Sometimes I try to make my character use different weapons. Still the same character, but now I'm in a different role. Now I'm in healing role. You notice I'm blue. I got a blue aura. My costume changed ever so slightly and stuff. Even my mask and stuff. And of course, like I said, my weapon attacks. I use martial arts with this, and the weapon mastery combos into the hand blast. I mean, if I want to, I can use hand blast too. Because, you know, in order for you to combo into another weapon, you gotta first master the first weapon. And once you master it, they give you the option to open trees for the other weapons they may combo into that particular weapon. But my main weapon with this character, when I'm in healing role, is martial arts. And just like as a DPS, my hand blasters combo into brawling, if you know what brawling is. But anyway, I chose Galvanize, which is an awesome heal if you're, you know, depending on where you're at. And when you move across the group to other people, I can show you with the dummies. I could use it here, it'll do a decent heal. When I go to the other side of the group, the opposite side, and use it, it gets stronger. Electrogenesis makes the encore return because it's definitely a good move to have even in healing role too, because wrong move. Electrogenesis does the exact opposite in healing role. Instead of putting a damaging aura on two of your enemies, you put a healing aura on two of your closest allies, including yourself. So whoever's near you when you use it, or near the target, or near your, you know, your allies that you use it on, it's basically, like I said, dang, I keep using the wrong move. Alright, you see the electricity around me. I'm trying to, well, the shield is in the way. But you hear it crackling. The blue bolts that are coming from me, that basically, if I'm around my teammates, it'll heal them. You know, for a little bit, meaning it'll keep them alive as long as it's active. Alright, that was Galvanize. I forgot what this move was called. But this move is definitely a nice burst heal. Like, the more people that's by you, especially if you're in a raid, let's just say if a vast majority of the group is by you, the heal will get so much stronger depending on how many people you get to heal with this move when you activate it. So I try to, basically, if I see a group of people, or everybody, like, people who are bold enough to, like, attack a boss up there in a tank, and let's say this middle target is where the boss is at, I would literally do a lunge attack that will make me lunge into the middle. Let's say it landed me right here. I'll pop this, then I'll get away real quick before I attract aggro, you know, because as a healer, you don't want to really draw too much attention to yourself, because you're supposed to heal and keep people alive. Now, the reason why you might see a healer or a controller use a weapon attack is because weapon attacks help you build your power when you're not using your special power, your superpowers. And it also makes life easier for the controller to give back energy to the group and yourself, as well as crowd control. Crowd control is a big must. If you don't have crowd control, some of these enemies will run amok and really, literally try to off you where you stand. And they have no problem doing it. Then we have Arc Lightning. Now, like I said, Arc Lightning still hits enemies. It still damages them, but not as much because you're not in damage roll no more. And it heals. You heal a lot better because you're in healing roll. So that means my heals do a lot more better when I use this move. It's a lot stronger. And then we got a supercharge. You see it's kind of halfway up because, yeah, anything you attack basically, it builds up your supercharge bar. Now, the healing that I got for this is called, I forgot what it's called, but basically puts a group shield on everybody. It heals them and gives them a little bit of power, like as if you're a controller. Not too much, but just enough, like I said, and it makes a big difference, like I said, because you're contributing your skills to the group. And there you have it. I forgot to say, you know, I got my soda colas. That's what helps you restore your health. If you're low in health and you don't have the power to heal yourself or get healed by another healer. Then you got your trinket. Your trinkets are basically, you know, extra items that you can use moves to help power up the character even further, whether it's to make them perform better heals or give stronger heals or overall damage potential. Sometimes they have specific ones. They have one for healers, one for tanks, and one for controllers, and of course one for damagers. Damagers basically want to focus on damaging, doing as much damage, inflicting as much damage as fast as possible. The tank the tank trinkets are basically, it increases the health and the dominance factor of the tank. You know, tanks already have high defense and dominance because that's their role. Controllers, they use dominance, but they use it for different. They use dominance because their powers are supposed to control people and you know, and incapacitate them, whereas a stun, make them panic, make them run away with fear, or basically it's supposed to incapacitate them from being effective in battle. So they were doing something like, you know, kicking the group's ass. A little stun or crowd control will make them do the exact opposite, literally run away from their target, you know, the opposite of fight, basically, so they're not hurting as much. Healers mitigate damage. Sometimes they can have awesome, nifty, you know, abilities like shields that can protect you from damage for a limited amount of damage you have. And of course, heal. They keep the group alive. They're literally lifesavers. Tank, like I said, their mission is to get the control, well, not control, get the attention of the enemies, where the enemies want to fight him instead of the rest of the group. So the rest of the group could be more free to perform their job and their duties. And basically, the tank's supposed to get all the enemies' attention, including the boss. If the boss is really a high damaging, you know, entity that's really making that would end life as you know it, you want the tank to have his attention because he has the defense and the health to put up with that type of damage. Like I said, every role is important in the sense of they have a specific job and duty that only they can perform and contribute. Some people lose sight of that and think that, oh, okay, I'm a tank, but I still want to do damage. Then be a DPS, don't be a tank. Because your points are only going to allot for you to do as good at the role that you're playing if you're in that specific role. And I don't know if you can see, but right where my level is, where it says level 30, if you look underneath there, I can show you better here. Well, right there where it says Divine Armor, I chose that, so I always know that Divine Armor is basically my healing role when I want to be a healer. My Rising Armor is my DPS role. Like I said, when you change to DPS, you see that fire symbol, that means you're damaging. So it means all your attacks or whatever you specify your character to be is going to be specified for that particular playwright. Alright, now let me get to a mission so you can actually see some butt kicking. I only say that because in case kids watch my video, I don't want to say too much, you know, adult things, even though I know mostly gamers, hopefully, that are like me, would be with most of my followers. Alright, I'm going to try to choose an actual challenging mission. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'll do the Phantom Zone. Now, when you queue up, they give you the options to, basically, if you want to be a healer, or a controller, or a damager, or a tank. Let's see if I queue for another mission. Alright, so you could, well, depending on your powers, they're not going to let you choose the other. Like, for instance, if I had tank powers, I wouldn't be able to be on the healing thing. Or if I had controlling powers, I wouldn't be able to choose healer or tank. But since my powers are healing powers, I could be a healer if I want, or I could be a damager. Every power could be damaging, because that's the second aspect. But if you're role specific, like for instance, fire can only be a tank if it's not going to damage. Ice can only be a tank. Atomic can be a tank. And rage and earth can be a tank. Then you got the healing ones. You got sorcery, celestial, electric, and nature, and water. Yep, because they just made water. Then you got the controllers. You got hard light, gadgets, mental, quantum, and munitions. Now, like I said again, like you see, if you look at my map, on the bottom right-hand side of it, yeah, the bottom right-hand side of my map, you see this symbol that looks like, you know, 3 people standing there. That's basically, you know, the queue. The queue is telling you that, okay, you queued up for a mission, and 2, the necessary people who queued up for that same exact mission are readily available, then you'll be able to enter the instance and commence your mission. These are the statues that my league mates, put up for people who, do various things within the league. I had a statue before, but since, as a matter of fact, no, here's my statue right here. Yeah, that's me. No, but it didn't capture me in my healing state. But I believe if I read the caption, it says, yeah, healer. But since I do have a healing power, it's just that when I, this device here, it basically captures your appearance for your statue. So if I want to be, immortalized like this, I would be this. But since I'm a healer, I'm gonna switch to healer real quick. And since I want this to be, so hopefully, when they save my statue appearance again for anything I'm doing a healer, this avatar will show on display instead of this one. Damn, I can't even sit on my own arm. Nah, they'll let me stand on my shoulder though. Hopefully. Nah, they won't let me stand on top of the statue. Oh well. Well, anyway, I'm gonna save this appearance so whenever they want to capture me being, in my role, they see the healing side of me. Alright, let me select the damage. As a matter of fact, alright, I'm gonna go to the real world. That's exactly what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go to the real world and I'm gonna go play around a little bit. Cause some, I won't say trouble, but let me see what kind of supervillains I could pick on. I don't know a perfect place. It's obvious, okay. But I want to really go against somebody that's really cool. The only person I can think of that's easy to really find is I can find the Minotaur easily. I can find Bizarro easily. Who else can I find easily? That's usually practically there. Avatar Sin is usually in his spot. Oh, I know what I'm gonna go to Gotham and fight Solomon Grundy. So I was going to fight him as a character I'm actually developing. Okay, East End. That's where we'll go to East End Police Station. Oh, as a matter of fact, no, I don't even need to do that. I'll just use the teleporter inside the metal wing. That'll put me directly in Gotham. Oh yeah, and I can fight those stupid avatars that Brainiac has. Alrighty. I don't really need that, so I'm just gonna go just for the hell of it, because I don't really need that. But if you were leveling up and you just a fresh level 30 character that there was a console you could interact with and it gives you a daily mission, every day you do it, you could get a decent piece of gear that would be, strong for you at that level. Since I'm way stronger than that and I'm so far from needing that gear, it's like, Anyway, I remember when this mission used to be actually challenging. Basically, this thing in the middle is these robots are putting pieces of one of Brainiac's avatars together. And basically when it's all assembled, you actually fight it. Now these are smaller versions of it. They have bigger versions when you do missions like Fortress of Solitude, the Gates of Tartarus, and or Brainiac Subconstruct, which is the third Batcave. Basically, Brainiac took aspects of all three meta, magic, and tech, avatars to his disposal. So you're doing the third Batcave. Obviously, it's a Batman mission, and you're fighting tech since technology is Batman's thing. And the Fortress of Solitude, which is the apex is meta powers, meta superhuman powers and whatnot. It's basically Superman, and you fight his avatar, which is the avatar meta. Then you fight the avatar magic. He's a conduit that uses magic. Basically, he's trying to take over the Gates of Tartarus and get the Flame of Change and, combine logic and technology with magic. Like I said, depending on which one is being built, like I said, these things used to be hard, especially if 2 or 3 of them spawn and they were like literally in the same area. And sometimes, they actually walk around to different places. Like you can see them over here and in between this building. I've seen some over here, but I don't want to. I can kill these enemies easily. I just don't want to. Unnecessary conflict doesn't interesting. I'll wait for the big dog to come around so I can go, you know, and if he's not going to be here, then I'll just go find a super villain to go beat up real quick. Alright, well, as you can tell, this is Gotham City. So maybe the avatar's over here. There's different places that they can spawn. I like that space because it's closer to the hero spawn, and if, you know, if you're weak or squishy and you happen to get KO'd, you could, you have a better chance of coming back to life when there's people, leave that citizen alone. I put him down, he curled up in the fetal position. Then he exploded. I want something big to hit on so I can really, like, beat it down and show you. Alright, I'm just gonna go on, let me see, okay, where is Robinson Park? That's where I'm gonna find Solomon Grundy, because I'm gonna fight him. I only say that because he's one of the only villains I can actually think of at the top of my head that actually could somewhat, well, he still can't give this character a challenge, but, you know, overall, because of who he is and his strength and his powers and whatnot, you know, it makes him extremely formidable. Okay, now, in my opinion, Gotham is still a pretty big city. It's not as big as Metropolis, but it still has this, you know, corners and alleyways and, you know, darkness affiliation, I guess you could say. And it's funny because in Gotham City, it's always nighttime. You never see a daytime version of it unless you're playing the alternate Gotham when you go into the future. Oh, look at that. I saw this from the sky. One thing I like about flying is that you have the ability to survey and see everything.
Now for a real bang. Will it be them or you? You'll never know until you try.
Okay, now I gotta find this stupid park. Ah, there we go, here we go. You're down at Botanical Gardens. Solomon Grundy, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna put you to rest, boy. Alright. He's around here somewhere. He's always talking about, oh, I don't like Ivy. But I like Ivy. Like, make up your mind, Solomon Grundy. Alright, where are you at? Okay, normally you spawn up somewhere. Okay, not over here, not over there. Okay, you're over here, basically. Wait, are you over here? No. Ah, you're over here. Okay, gotcha. Alright. There you are. You see him? Solomon Grundy. Now I'm going to try to be fair and nice, because hopefully maybe there's other heroes around here. They could get credit for him too. Like I said, I could beat him easy, hands down. Like, even if I was like 140 or something like that, I could still solo him. I mean, he's not that difficult. He's only level 46, but still, he's like, if your combat range is like 38, 39, 40, you're going to have trouble in the sense that you're not going to do it by yourself, and you're going to probably need at least a group of people, at least 3 or 4 people with you. That they can be extra targets because he hits pretty hard.
But Grundy also loves Ivy.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to let him beat on me for a little bit, just to be fair. He's looking at me too, and he's not even doing nothing. And he just walked away. See, some of the bounties, if you're within close range to them or do something, you know, unnecessary movements, you will get smacked and hurt. But as long as I guess I don't do nothing, he don't have to worry. It's like he wants to attack me, but just, you know.
Smash humans.
Let me turn this up a little bit. Alright, let me see.
Ivy says, keep plants safe. Grundy not want to do what Ivy says, but Grundy does it anyway. Grundy guess love like that.
He talks like the Hulk. That's one reason why I've always liked it. I always liked Solomon Grundy. Well, at least in the Justice League, you know, show.
Plans good, people bad.
I'm trying to give other people a fair shot. You know, if they needed to get the experience from him, I'll definitely beat him down for them. But I'm really trying to beat him down to show you guys. As a matter of fact, I'm just
Grundy
going to
not
do it.
want to do what Ivy says, but Grundy does it anyway. Grundy guess love like that. No hurt Grundy!
But even though he can't really do anything to really hurt me or be a threat to me, he can still, you know, knock me away. Because technically, oh god. Oh, you think he's gonna fly and stay away from him? He could really, he jumps. He jumps like this giant fucking superpowered tick or flea. See, watch. He'll jump up to try to get to me. You know, he can't fly, but still. You don't want something big and powerhouse like this, manhandling you, jumping in the air to take swipes at you. I could beat him more fast. I'm just playing with him because they're like, oh, it's a real tough battle. Da, 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 da.
These spores will feast.
Oh, that's the end of Grundy. Wait, is he still laying there? Yeah. There's the corpse. He'll get up in a little bit because you know Grundy's undead, right? He's gonna get up and just, you're not gonna, you know, he's gonna jump away, go away, and then he'll respawn shortly. But it's nice looking at, you know, a job well done. Again, like I said, I really wanted to show you a better mission than me picking on a villain that I could, you know, beat circles around him. Oh, he disappeared. Normally they show them getting up and like flying away or jumping away or disappearing away, levitating away, whatever you want to say. And then shortly after that, they'll reappear. Not in the same place he was defeated, though. But again, like I was saying, back to I wish more people played this game because at least there'd be more people that's, you know, on the same level, the same tier as you to kind of help you or do your missions or you help them. Like, you know, same with the villain side. I think, in my opinion, the villains, they kind of work a little bit better in the group. With the heroes, there's more of them. I mean, like, mostly people who play this game are heroes, if you know. Like I said, I already have 11 characters, like I said, but I play both sides. You know, sometimes I feel like being a hero, sometimes I feel like being a villain. I thought I heard something. But like I said, I'm definitely hoping to make more helpful videos, more fun videos, something that's more entertaining. Like I said, I really want to do more that you guys could actually see the capabilities of, the prospect of what this game truly has to offer. I mean, I just like how much freedom you have to freely move around the world and do as you please. Oh, somebody invited me to a group. Okay, he's a level 23, then he invited a level 20. Hey, where you at? I hear you. Oh, there you are. Let me switch to... let me start my broadcast. But anyway, please, subscribe, like, please, man. I want to really make more videos and hopefully build a nice, decent fan base so that people can actually have fun playing this game. This game used to be fun, whether you want to, like I said, so many things you do. You can customize your characters, so many different levels of creativity. It's just amazing. But for the most part, this game was meant to and designed to play with multiple people. Whether you get a group of your friends and y'all kind of, get together to do your missions. I look at it no different than if I'm watching an episode of Justice League or reading a comic, because I am a comic book buff. I just look at this game as no different than I'm watching an episode that I control the action.
Ivy says, keep plants safe.
You know what? I'm gonna do my thing and actually
These spores will feast.
Actually help people, do things. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna turn into my healer role. I mean, I can still damage them pretty much, but not as much as I'm in damaging role because I want them to do the work. So I'm just gonna do my thing and just keep them alive and show you what a healer is actually supposed to do. I'm not gonna do that until they get really, really hurt, and I'll heal them. Then you can see how good my heals could be.
You'll hurt Grundy!
I was waiting for him to get hurt more, because I know my heals are so fantastic. I threw out a nice heal that basically will keep them alive. So if I step away, like first I'm going to go answer my door, and I don't even have the controller in my hand. You can feel my voice and I can hear the game going on, but I threw a nice heal that'll keep them alive until I get back. If they don't throw me around too much. They have a tank here fighting with them, so I don't really have to do much of anything. I'm just basically here to support in case they need to stay alive. See, I'm not even doing nothing. I'm just going to walk around and occasionally if I see somebody getting really hurt, I'll throw the heal. Like I said, the object, if you really want to know how to heal properly, it's not just about the powers or the moves you have in your loadout. It's really also about the timing. When you actually throw off the heal, that's supposed to be life-saving. Well, I'll make it go a little bit faster, even though they don't really need me. Alright, I'm gonna damage him just a little bit more. Even as a healer, even though my focus isn't on damage, for my skill points, I can still hit pretty hard because I'm a high level guy. 172 as a healer, but I'm 179 as a damager. Like I said, every roll, even if you're not in the damaging roll, you still do some type of damage because you still have fight and precision on your side. Oh, yeah, somebody's hurt. Hold on, let me switch to my root setting. Yeah, if y'all need any help with any more bounties, let me know. You can add me as a friend. I'll be more than happy to heal. I was trying to, give y'all the aspect of fighting and not like, I'll help you avatar us in. But basically, because I could have, been damaging and, pretty much wiped the floor at him, which I already did. I don't know when of you guys is around, but sometimes that takes the fun out of it. So I figured, let me just go in my healing role where I'll do less damage, but then I'll just keep you guys alive and let you guys, finish the job. But I'll meet you guys in Metropolis if you want, and we can take on Avatar Sin. I said I'll help you with all the bounties if you like. I'm just actually shooting a video. I'm actually at the end of it, so I'm going to stop broadcasting now. But I'm basically trying to get more people to play this game. I'm still in Gotham. I'm about to teleport to Metropolis right now. All right, yeah, let's stay in Gotham since we're in Gotham. Find the next one. When you find them, let me know, and I'll just come to where you're at. Alright, well, like I said, I'm about to close this video. I'm going to do more videos in the future, but anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you definitely enjoy this game.